My name is Mandy Nealer, and I am the event coordinator for the Night to Shine prom hosted by Community Baptist Church. First, I want to thank each of you for serving, and I pray that you are truly blessed by what will be an amazing prom night experience. In this training session, I'll be covering all aspects of the prom, from the general schedule to locations and details, and specific information and certain expectations of the volunteers. The first thing I would like to cover is answering a question I've heard most often, and that is, will Tim Tebow be there? Tim Tebow will be visiting 3 locations, but it's all being kept a big secret. He literally could just show up at our event, so be ready. If he doesn't make it to Maylene, he will at least send a video message for our special guests. All volunteers are being asked to park at Creekview Elementary School, which is located just down Highway 17, as you can see on the map. We will have a church bus shuttling volunteers from the school to the White House that's located just off of our parking lot here at CBC. Inside the White House is where all volunteers and buddies will go to check in. Once you've checked in, then you will need to report promptly to your location inside the church and find your team leader and be ready in place. Please be aware that we will not have a secure location for any personal belongings. So please leave your purses and bags and anything that you wouldn't want to keep up with while you're at the prom. You can leave those things in your vehicle, and we will have security officer on site there at the school to watch over the cars that are parked there. All volunteers and buddy team will need to be in place by 5:30, so please arrive at the school in plenty of time to be shuttled over to the church. Now to cover the general schedule of the event. As stated earlier, volunteers and buddies will need to have arrived no later than 5 p.m. We can begin parking at the church at 4 p.m. That would be ideal if you could come that early, to allow plenty of time for the shuttles to run and to bring all the volunteers over to the church in time. You need to be signed in and in place no later than 5:20. We're going to open the doors to registration at 5:30, so it would be great for everyone to be in place and be ready to go at that time. At 6 p.m. is when the dance officially begins. Around 7:30, all the guests will be called into the prom area in order to be part of the crowning ceremony. Between the hours of 6 and 9, the guests will have the option to dance in the prom area. We will have refreshments available for them, photo booth time, there's going to be a karaoke room, there's a hair and makeup room for the ladies to visit for a touch-up, there's going to be a shoe shine room for the men to be able to go and get their shoes shined, and there's also going to be unlimited rides in the limo and luxury cars that are going to be on site as well. At 9 p.m. is when the dance will end, and the guest and their buddy will reunite with parents. A gift team will ensure that each guest leaves with a gift. Volunteers will need to wear appropriate dress for your area. Your team leader will share with you what will be expected. Semi-formal black tie will be appropriate, as well as just your Sunday best. Buddies will need to wear semi-formal attire. A tux and formal is great, but it's not necessary. Just try to think as close as you can get to what you would wear to your own prom. But girls, please keep modesty in mind when dressing for this event. Remember, as a buddy, it's not about you, it's about your special guest for this evening. Before I discuss the details of the event, here's a message from Tim Tebow.
What's up, church? I'm Tim Tebow, and I want to say thank you so much for being a part of the 3rd annual Night to Shine. Night to Shine for us was something that we started 3 years ago because we wanted to celebrate people with special needs. But in the course of the last 3 years, it has turned into so much more than that. Now it's a movement to celebrate life, to celebrate love, to celebrate God's love for every single one of us. This year, we're going to have over 375 churches partnering with us, over 150,000 volunteers, but most importantly, we get to celebrate over 75,000 kings and queens. that many people are going to hear about the love of God for their life. They're going to feel special. But also what's really cool is we have over 27 denominations that are partnering with us. Because it's not just about the banner that we fly in front of the church. It's about the people in the church. It's about celebrating people. It's about loving people. It's about caring about people. I want to share with you a letter that one of the moms from last year's Night to Shine wrote to me. There have been many times I've wanted to shout to everyone and no one in particular. Don't forget my girl. It's not easy, I know. But she's here, sitting in the dark, waiting for you to sit with her, see her, know her. Don't forget my girl. At Night to Shine, God whispered to me, I will never, ever forget her. She is famous to me like an A-lister walking the red carpet. I throw a party, serve the best food, and clothe her in love. I pamper her with my goodness and put a crown on her head. She is precious and she is mine. How extravagant is the love of God for us. That's how we want to make every single kid feel. How extravagant is the love of God for us. That's why we throw a Night to Shine. It's more than just a prom. It's a night where we can change people's life because we get to share the love of God with them. That's pretty cool. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being a part of a Night to Shine.
Here you see an overview of the layout. Upon arrival, guests and family will be offered valet service by the transportation team. As you see to the left, the valet entry will allow for guests to enter directly into the registration area. At registration, guests with their caretaker still present will be paired with a buddy who will be chosen from the holding room that you see labeled in green to the left of the map. The buddy will receive a lanyard that has the name of their guest. Included on the card will be any important information such as allergies or special needs of that guest. So if you're a buddy, when you arrive after you've checked in, you can see here on this map, those classrooms that are along the registration area is where you will need to report and meet up with Brian Mueller, who will be your team leader. From this point after registration, a member of the welcome team will escort the caretaker to either the respite room or to the red carpet area if they desire to be present as guests enter the event. From registration, the buddy will take their guests down the front hall to the front double doors, and a member of the transportation team will assist you and your guest into the limo to be taken to the red carpet. If your guest is wheelchair bound, you will take that guest down the same hallway, but you'll exit to your left and go down the ramp to the sidewalk toward the front of the church where the red carpet will begin. Someone from the red carpet team will meet you there, and you will then escort your guest into the prom. Someone from the welcome team may assist you with this transition time until you've arrived safely at the red carpet. The red carpet team will have a lead person that everyone will need to have visual contact with upon the arrival of each guest. The lead will signal if the guest is sound or light sensitive or has any specific issues that they would need assistance with. The crowd will need to adjust their welcome mode to fit the need for that guest. So please be very mindful of any signage that comes down in front of the guest to ensure that we honor their needs. Once the guest has made their way down the red carpet, at the entry door to the church there will be a stop and pose photo wall for your guest. Please allow them to have their photo made alone if possible, and one with their buddy just for fun. If the caretakers are present, please allow them to have their picture made there as well if they would like. When you move on inside, there will be a table in the foyer and a team prepared to greet each guest with a flower. Once their flower is received, you may enter the dance area. During the evening, there are various opportunities for your guests to have fun. Just outside the sanctuary, there are activities in the classrooms that you'll see on the right side of the map. We'll have a game room, karaoke room, shoe shine and hair and makeup, as well as a photo booth so that they can have some fun pictures made either alone, with their new friends, or some with you as well. Finally, after the crowning ceremony, the limo and luxury cars will be waiting outside the side entrance to the right of the map to take guests on rides if they desire. I encourage you to escort your guests to these areas to see if they're interested. Just telling them about it may be overwhelming or confusing. If you'll take them and show them and let them see if they would like to do any of these activities. In the back left on the map is the dining room. Foods and drinks for the guests will be located here, as well as some seating. For the parents and caretakers who desire to remain on site, we have a respite area where relaxing entertainment and food will be available. If younger children come with the families, we have an area just beyond the respite room that will be set up for those children. Please note, as volunteers, you will need to make arrangements for child care, as we will not have care for our children on site. This area is for guest families only. Finally, in the front left corner, you will see sensory areas. These rooms will have an experienced team ready to care for any guest that is overwhelmed and perhaps needs a break from the noise. In a moment, I will discuss some signs to be aware of to know if your guest may need to be escorted to this area. A team member there will determine if the caretaker needs to be notified. Here are some expectations if you're chosen to be a buddy for the evening. More details of your duties will be sent by email from your team leader prior to the event. As a buddy, you will never leave your guest alone. If you need assistance, please gain the attention of another volunteer. If you're on the dance floor and need assistance, there will be a dance floor team there that you can ask for help. The dance floor team will not only be keeping the energy up, they will also be the watchful eyes making sure that everyone is okay. If your guest would like to eat, as a buddy, you will be acting as their server. You will offer to hold their plate and offer in helping them make their choices, being mindful of any notes if they have allergies or special feeding needs. A food service team will be there to help serve and also check for these needs as well. You will need to give your guest 100% of your attention during the time that they are eating. Buddies will not be eating, so that you may be free to assist your guest in any way. So please make sure that you eat prior to arrival. The purpose of serving their needs before our own is to make your guest feel like royalty. A team will be present to clear any plates and garbage, and also as a point of contact if you have any concerns while your guest is eating. If your buddy needs to use the restroom, there will be bathroom attendants located at each restroom to assist you. Please remember to be present for them once they exit. Please be aware as well that with the excitement of the night, there's always the possibility of sickness. We will have a spill kit available and hopefully a few volunteers that will be on a custodial duty for the evening to assist with any issues. We will have special requests from guests that we will need to be aware of. At the time of registration, when you as a buddy are paired with your guest, it is very important that you pay very close attention to any special instructions about your guest. One example would be a guest that's not to appear in any pictures or video. It will be a huge responsibility of that buddy to help maintain the security of that guest in that regard. Here are some interaction tips on how we can best speak with our guests. We want them to know that they're the most valuable, important people in the room, and we want to prevent unintentionally offending someone. And here's some list of terms that we want to avoid. Saying things like handicapped or calling them disabled, mentioning if they're mentally different or asking them what's wrong with them. Let's be mindful to stay away from all of those situations. And let's just focus on the positives and tell your guests that you're glad that they're there. And do they know how much that God loves them? And things like that. Let's just don't even talk about their disabilities, because that's not what this afternoon is about. It's about taking care of them and making them feel special. But you'll see here some list of offensive phrases and things that they would just like for us to be mindful of when we're talking with our guests. The key thing to remember is to put the person first. They are not their disability. They are first and foremost a child of God and a person with feelings and emotions just like you. Here are some tips for communicating with your guest. It's always a good idea to greet guests just as you would any other person. It's important not to alter your speaking voice and talk to them with baby talk or to talk loudly as if they can't hear you. Don't assume that they don't understand you. Always be patient and ask for help if you have trouble understanding your guest. Always ask for help if you find yourself in any type of uncomfortable situation. Be mindful of the signs of overstimulation. As you'll see here, some of those things include yelling, screaming, if they start to fidget, if they have a fearful look or an aggressive behavior. If this happens, please direct them to the sensory areas or find an adult for help. Always maintain your composure, speak kindly, and be patient. Never go alone with a guest, and always maintain a physical boundary. Never encourage date-like behavior. You want to do everything possible to avoid your guest viewing you as a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Please keep in mind that tonight you are simply their friend. In case any emergencies should arise, the entire event we will have a full medical team on site, fire and ambulance. Also, uniformed city and county officers will be on site for our protection. There'll be parking lot security, as well as security located at the school where we will park. In the event of inclement weather, we will adjust according to need and will communicate as soon as possible by email or text to let you know of any changes that need to be made for the evening. This concludes our video training session. Please note the attachments of the volunteer and buddy forms that must be returned to me prior to the event. Please contact me with any questions. Thank you again so much for volunteering. I look forward to meeting you that night, and I look forward for having an amazing night to shine. Thank you.
To make me feel this way. Listen up, take a chance. You can sing, you can dance, you can live like there's no tomorrow. Give it time and you'll find there's a rule, there's a rhyme. Move along and the rest will follow.